Hello everyone, my name is Nathan, and welcome to Hale. I hope you enjoyed that intro. That was just a quick look as to which movies I watched in 2022. I have plenty more to talk about in this video today. This is the third year that I've done an annual award show, and it's been nice because every year it seems like I make some changes, I also keep some stuff. The biggest change this year is perhaps the title of it. I am officially changing the name of the award show to the Alfies in honor of Alfred Hitchcock, my favorite movie director of all time. In the past, it's been known as the First Time Watch Awards. I'll make sure to include those videos at the end of this one if you want to watch previous year's award shows. But basically, this is my own very subjective award show where I award movies that I watched the previous year, so in this case 2022. I have 16 different categories to award, and of course nominees for each category. You'll find award categories that are similar to the Oscars, and then you'll find some award categories that are signature to my style and just some movies that I want to award just because they're highlights. If you want to skip through the award show and watch certain categories, please feel free to use the timestamps. Something to know going into the award show, if I call a category the best, odds are I'm more so saying it's my favorite. I'm not saying like this is the best movie of the year. It's subjectively my favorite movie of the year. Without further ado, let's check out our first category. The nominees for my favorite character of the year are Dan Evans, 3:10 to Yuma. He is full of determination, and his ability to not back down makes him all the more likable and easy to root for. Catherine Sloper, the heiress. She starts as a naive character, but grows so much during the film's runtime that it's hard not to love her by the end. Guy Patterson, That Thing You Do. He's so witty and easy to like, he leads the band, and honestly just seems like a super fun guy to hang out with. Jo March, Little Women. She is so independent, which is really neat to see in the 1800s. She's also blunt and says what's on her mind. She'll listen to others, but also stay true to herself. Ben Wade, 3:10 to Yuma. He was intimidating from the moment he appeared on screen. His calm demeanor makes him all the more intimidating, and he's someone that I wouldn't want to cross paths with. And the winner is Jo March. She's hard not to love. You see so much of her life in the story of Little Women, and by the end of it, I feel like I know her personally. The next category is for my favorite TV show of the year. Now, as a reminder, I cannot nominate any TV shows that I have not yet completed. However, if it's a TV show that I've watched as much as I can watch, that qualifies to be nominated. So in other words, a new season of a show qualifies, but if the show is complete, it's over, and I haven't finished the show, then that does not qualify. The nominees are Severance, Season 1. This show had me interested before I even pressed play. That's how intriguing the plot was for me. I loved the characters, and really my only con with this series so far is that I have to wait so long for Season 2. Spider-Man, the animated series. The series is so cheesy, but that's what makes me love it so much. It's not the type of show I'm watching to be on the edge of my seat. I want to laugh and have a great time, and for that, it had to be nominated.
I'm not gonna make that mistake again. Mary Jane, will you marry me? Mary Jane!
Stranger Things Season 4. My favorite season of Stranger Things to date. Season 4 introduced a crazy new story, reintroduced characters we love, and made a meme out of getting Vecnud. Wednesday, Season 1. Wednesday Addams' dark sense of humor is what made this show so easy to watch. Her clever one-liners are incredibly easy to laugh at, and I can't wait for Season 2. Nathan For You. I can't recall laughing harder in a TV show. Every episode had me laughing at least once, if not on the floor rolling. Nathan Fielder is a genius. And the winner goes to Severance. I haven't seen a show have this hard of a finale since my days of watching Lost. I can't believe I have to wait for Season 2. I want it all now. Please, feed me. I'm hungry. Give it to me. The next category is for my favorite actress in a supporting role. The nominees are Jane Darwell, The Grapes of Wrath. She's Ma, the leader of the pack, the driver of a heavy performance, and the one you just want to be happy in the end. Jane Lynch, Best in Show. She felt so real in this movie. Her mannerisms, both in the interviews and out, just felt so real for the kind of character that she was trying to portray. Gloria Graham, The Big Heat. She gives a really sad performance here. Not only is she broken, but you know that she ultimately just wants to do right. And she's especially great, considering that her role is pretty pivotal to the film. Claire Danes, Little Woman. Her performance nearly brought me to tears. She was so good at capturing the innocence and kindness of Beth. And Barbara Harris, Family Plot. The standout role in Alfred Hitchcock's final movie. She had the right balance of everything. She was able to be funny, scared, sad, and the list goes on. And the Alfie goes to Claire Danes. I thought there was merit in every nominee, but I loved Claire Danes here. She outshined the 2019 Beth performance. She's definitely one of the many highlights of the 1994 film. My next category is Best Performance by an Actor in a Supporting Role. The nominees are Colin Farrell, the Batman. It's common for an actor to give a good performance, but it's rare when they completely transform into their character. You've heard it said before, but Colin Farrell is unrecognizable here. Burl Ives, The Big Country. The standout of The Big Country is Burl Ives' performance. He has no right to be this good, let alone the key takeaway of the movie. I still think about certain scenes with him. Charles Laughton, Advise and Consent. Even as the last performance of his career, Laughton proves he can never do wrong. He's even a convincing Southern man. Henry Fonda, Once Upon a Time in the West. To play the hero in so many well-known movies and do just as good, if not better, at playing the villain is an impressive accomplishment from Fonda. He owns this role. Don Murray, Advise and Consent. I was shocked at how much I loved Murray's performance. You feel the desperation of his character. You want things to go well for him, and his performance is the reason. And the Alfie goes to Henry Fonda for Once Upon a Time in the West. He wasn't recognized at the Oscars for his role, but thank goodness I'll give him an Alfie for it. One of my favorite categories that I got rid of last year, but I'm bringing back because I don't like that I got rid of it last year, it is the weirdest watch of the year. This doesn't mean the movies are bad necessarily. They could be bad, they could also be really good, but regardless of the quality, they were weird. The nominees are Cat's Eye, an anthology film from the mind of Stephen King. The weirdness comes from the dated aspect of the movie. Each segment feels dated in its own regard, but the final one with Drew Barrymore really seals the deal. Lord of the Flies. The editing choices and the acting is what earns this nomination. Many of the kid actors look right at the camera, or they take forever to say their lines. Just the movie as a whole feels a bit off. Star Wars The Holiday Special. Have you heard of this movie? Okay, good. I don't have to say anything else. Devil Doll. I really enjoyed this movie, but I can't deny the plot is bonkers. Turning humans to doll-sized murderers is so crazy. I appreciate the effects of the time, but also think they make the movie even weirder. And Matilda. It's a man in a kangaroo costume who becomes a professional boxer. Plus the side plot has the villains aching to cut Matilda's tail off. It's so weird, I could not make this stuff up. And the Alfie goes to Star Wars The Holiday Special. Life Day is a sham, don't believe it. This movie's just a bunch of Wookiees watching weird VR films, playing with toys, and saying things you don't even understand. Plus, none of the main leads belong here, and they show it. Now, my next category is a great transition from Weirdest Watch of the Year. We are now talking about the Worst Watch of the Year. The nominees are Pinocchio, A True Story. Gosh, the dubbing is awful, the animation's awful. Tybalt is possibly even more annoying than Pinocchio. It's obvious I only watched this for the meme, but even then, it wasn't worth it. Matilda. Man in kangaroo costumes back. Tremors 2. I didn't even like the first one. I only watched the sequel because it was my roommate's turn to pick the movie night. Star Wars The Holiday Special. We Meet Again. Black Adam. Bro, this movie's so stinking lit, bro. I really want to be Black Adam when I grow up, bro. Can't wait to see Black Adam and Superman fight, bro. Yeah. And the Alfie goes to Matilda. I may very well regret not awarding this to Star Wars The Holiday Special. But the way I see it, I'm more likely to rewatch Star Wars The Holiday Special with friends. Plus it's Star Wars, so it at least has that going for it. But Matilda's just awful the entire runtime, and I never want to see it again. Like, stay away from Matilda.
A boxing kangaroo.
The nominees for Best Animated Feature are Batman, The Mask of the Phantasm. I was impressed with how easy it was to like this movie, even having no exposure to the animated series. It's dark, the plot moves along briskly, and man do I want to watch the TV show now. The Plague Dogs. This deserves a spot in the Sad Animated Movies Club. The movie proved to be a great adaptation of the book. The animation is beautiful, but if you ever do watch it, make sure to bring the tissues. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. Stop motion animation is eye candy for me. This movie was incredibly impressive, especially because even beyond the animation, we still get a unique spin on the Pinocchio tale with heart and plenty of creativity. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. A sequel made over a decade after the first one, and it exceeds all expectations. Puss in Boots was not only beautiful to look at, but it had real emotion and heart behind it. Plus, it's pretty darn rewatchable. Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. I discovered this movie just weeks before it was to be released. I didn't expect so many amazing cameos and Easter eggs. I laughed, I didn't cry, but I did bop my head to Post Malone's version of the theme song. That version is so catchy. And the Alfie goes to Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Something not a lot of people have been mentioning about the greatness of Puss in Boots is the Western tribute it is. It takes so much from Sergio Leone's films, which makes me like it even more. My next category is Best Foreign Film. The nominees are M. Peter Lorre gives a scary performance, but also the movie is just scary in general. Flea, a creative way to not only illustrate a documentary, but to go as hard as it went on the animation. Grand Illusion, a unique look at being a prisoner of war, including the bad and even some of the good. Rome Open City. This depressing film had me hooked with just how far they went to show the horrors of war, and Il Sorpasso. What seems like a buddy road trip movie has so much more going for it, including even a reconsideration of one's life. And the Alfie goes to Grand Illusion. I love me a good war movie. Add in A Prison Escape and it'll likely win Best Foreign Film of the Year. And we're back to some acting categories. The next category is Best Performance by an Actress in a Leading Role. The nominees are Katharine Hepburn, State of the Union. It's especially impressive she's here since I'm not even the biggest Hepburn fan. However, her performance is so emotional and strong that I couldn't not acknowledge her as one of the year's greats. Winona Ryder, Little Women. In a world where we've seen plenty of Little Women adaptations, Winona Ryder is still able to make hers unique and easy to love. She has the perfect balance of naivete and confidence. Elaine May, A New Leaf. Goofy, klutzy, genius, oblivious. Need I say more? Elaine May is amazing at capturing all these characteristics. She's never annoying. In fact, she's the most likable character of the whole movie. Marilyn Monroe, Gentlemen Prefer Blondes. What a dazzling performance. Marilyn Monroe is talented in so many ways. She can be funny, play any role, and even sing. Her song Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend is absolutely iconic. And Olivia de Havilland, The Heiress. Catherine Sloper is so easy to like and root for in this film, and it's easily for de Havilland's performance. She's able to be shy and naive, but also show off the opposite characteristic when the story calls for it. And the Alfie goes to Olivia de Havilland in The Heiress. I loved her so much in this movie that all I'll say is don't be surprised if you see her movies popping up a lot more often in my diary on Letterboxd. The next category is Best Performance by an Actor in a Leading Role, and the nominees are Charles Laughton, This Land Is Mine. Charles Laughton consistently proves that he can play any role, in this case, the timid schoolteacher destined for some character growth and an amazing final speech. Glenn Ford, 3:10 to Yuma. The reason Ben Wade is so intimidating to me is because of how good Ford is at being sly, quiet, reserved, but still violent when needs be. You never know when he's going to snap, making for a suspenseful viewing. Glenn Ford, Blackboard Jungle. Have you ever heard of this actor? Hey, he's really good. He presents once again his talent for staying calm and reserved, but this time as a completely different character. Glenn Ford never getting an Oscar nomination is a crime. Thank goodness I'm nominating him with some Alfies, right? Henry Fonda, The Grapes of Wrath. Fonda was nominated the same year as James Stewart for Philadelphia Story, and you guys all know how much I love James Stewart, but I'll put it like this. Fonda should have won. And Sidney Poitier, The Slender Thread. The main lead in Slender Thread was made for Poitier. There needs to be a character that ponders, hesitates, sweats, panics, and he checks every emotion off the list. And the Alfie goes to Glenn Ford in 3:10 to Yuma. And if you don't believe me, just ask the dishes. That's a line from Beauty and the Beast. It was kind of a miss because I'm not talking about Beauty and the Beast here, but I thought I'd still go for it. Anyways, let's move on to the next category. A brand new category this year, my favorite Criterion of the year. The nominees are 3:10 to Yuma. From the moment the movie begins to the final scene, I was hooked and engaged. Swing Time. A musical from the 30s has no right to have so many catchy songs and entertaining dance sequences. The Heiress. A movie filled with strong performances, an easy to follow plot, and a satisfying ending. The Cameraman. Buster Keaton, a sweet story, and a monkey. Come on, what's not to love? And Young Mr. Lincoln. Henry Fonda transforms into Abraham Lincoln, but the standout is the heart to the story and the courtroom scenes. And the Alfie goes to 3:10 to Yuma. If you've seen my Criterion ranking for 2022, this comes as no surprise. However, I still wanted to introduce this category in this award show because I have plans to use it in future award shows and kind of reorganize what videos I release around this time of year. The next category is for my favorite new release, aka my favorite movie released in 2022. The nominees are Glass Onion, a worthy sequel that, get ready for this, I liked even more than the first one. I love the zany characters, the flow of the movie, and the score is outstanding. Chip and Dale, Rescue Rangers. Animation plus live action can be harmful, but it's done seamlessly here. The movie is so creative and still holds up on a rewatch. Top Gun Maverick. I think universally people would agree this was the movie of the year. I mean, it broke records, brought so many to the theaters, and was just so easy to love. Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. Puss in Boots made me feel like I was watching a Shrek 1 or 2 film. That's how good it is. I love the characters, the good, the bad, and the ugly theme, and how serious it got at times. And The Banshees of Inisherin. Possibly the most simple plot of all the nominees, but easily one of my favorite watches of the year. The writing is top-notch and the performances are even topper-notch. And the Alfie goes to Puss in Boots, The Last Wish. I've already shared my thoughts on this movie, so let's just go ahead and move on to the next category. My next category award the actor and the actress of the year. Now these are ultimately subjective picks, I guess along with every category I present. However, I do still like analyzing each of the actors, finding the average rating of all the movies I saw from them for the first time, and how many movies I watched from them. The nominees are Edward G. Robinson, Highlights included Scarlet Street, Tales of Manhattan, and Soylent Green. Sidney Poitier. Highlights included Blackboard Jungle, A Patch of Blue, and The Slender Thread. Montgomery Clift. Highlights included The Heiress, A Place in the Sun, and The Search. Glenn Ford. Highlights included 3:10 to Yuma, Blackboard Jungle, and The Big Heat. And Henry Fonda. Highlights included Once Upon a Time in the West, Young Mr. Lincoln, and The Oxbow Incident. And the Alfie goes to Glenn Ford. I try to reward these based on who I know will go down in history as a favorite rewatchable actor for me. Frankly, all these actors qualify. I mean, Sidney Poitier won the Actor of the Year last year, but Glenn Ford made a mark so memorable for me that I had to award him. Not only did he give great performances in everything I saw him in, but him and his movies were featured in several categories. It'd be crazy not to reward him. The next category is the Actress of the Year. The nominees are Marilyn Monroe. Highlights included Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, Don't Bother to Knock, and Niagara. Ethel Waters. Highlights included Cabin in the Sky and Tales of Manhattan. Katharine Hepburn. Highlights included State of the Union, Suddenly Last Summer, and Holiday. Ginger Rogers. Highlights included Swing Time and Tales of Manhattan. And Gloria Graham. Highlights included The Big Heat and Oklahoma. And the Alfie goes to Marilyn Monroe. Having the lowest average score does not mean that you are not qualified to win the category. Marilyn Monroe was an actress I studied in 2022. I read 2 books about her life, watched over 10 movies of hers for the first time, and I really just got to know her for more than just the dumb blonde on the screen. She is the easy winner here for me. And the penultimate category of this award show is Director of the Year. The nominees are Otto Preminger. Highlights included Bunny Like Is Missing and Advise and Consent. Fritz Lang. Highlights included The Big Heat, Scarlet Street, and M. Sergio Leone. Highlights included Once Upon a Time in the West, A Fistful of Dollars, and For a Few Dollars More. John Ford. Highlights included Young Mr. Lincoln, The Grapes of Wrath, and The Searchers. And Frank Capra. Highlights included State of the Union and Pocketful of Miracles. And the Alfie goes to Sergio Leone. I watched more than half of Leone's films this year. He is, to me, the king of westerns. He's so incredible at creating a scene full of tension. His characters are memorable, his stories are still imitated today, and he deserves the crown for my Director of the Year. And now the ultimate category, the Best Picture of the Year. In this category, any movie qualifies. 2022 releases, Criterion releases, and any other first-time watches. It really just has to be a full-length feature film that I saw in 2022. The nominees for my favorite movie of 2022 are Glass Onion.
Unfortunately, this crime clashed with the presence of Benoit Blanc.
3:10 to Yuma.
Squeezing that watch ain't gonna stop time. Oh, no. You shouldn't get so scared, Dan.
Advise and Consent.
He will bring destruction to our traditions. And I beg your senators reject him. Reject him.
The Heiress.
Bolt it, Mariah.
Bolt it?
Bolt the door, Mariah.
Blackboard Jungle.
Step right up and taste a little of this, Daddy-O.
Give me that knife, Wes.
What do you want it? You want it in the belly? How about in the face, huh?
Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Come on, Chip! The water's fine! Oh, dang it! Okay. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
Cape Fear.
You just put the law in my hands, and I'm gonna break your heart with it. I got a little plan for your wife and kids. They're never gonna forget. Never.
Little Woman.
If I were going to be a writer, I'd go to New York and pursue the stage. Are you shocked?
Very.
Puss in Boots, The Last Wish.
Is that a stick? What are you gonna do with that? Ow! Ow, my knuckles!
You shouldn't have done that, mate.
And Once Upon a Time in the West. And the Alfie for Best Picture goes to 3:10 to Yuma. 2022 was the year of westerns for me. My favorite Criterion, favorite 2022 release, favorite director, all of them come back to the western genre, and I find it only fitting for my favorite movie of the year to fall into this genre as well. This was the year that I truly fell in love with westerns, and I want to remember 2022 for that. 3:10 to Yuma was my favorite first-time watch of the year. And a fun fact about 3:10 to Yuma, it's my first black and white Best Picture win, which is pretty crazy considering my love for black and white movies. I'd love to hear the movies that you watched this year. If you want to use my same categories, feel free to nominate your movies in the comments below. I'll definitely read them, I'll respond, I'd love to see them. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great day.